the 4th of July, a day of barbecues, fireworks, and parades. But it is much more than that. It marks the day the United States declared its freedom. It's a day to remember the struggle for independence. It's a time to reflect on what it means to be American. It's a celebration of liberty and the pursuit of happiness. These rights are at the heart of the American spirit.
The 4th of July reminds us of the courage of our ancestors. They fought for a new kind of nation, a nation where people could govern themselves. The 4th of July is a time for national unity. Americans from all walks of life come together. We celebrate our shared heritage. We honor the values that bind us together: freedom, justice, and equality. It's a day to reflect on how far we've come as a nation. It's also a day to look to the future. The 4th of July reminds us that freedom is a precious gift. It's a gift that comes with responsibilities. It's up to each generation to protect and preserve it.
The Declaration of Independence is a powerful document. It proclaimed that the 13 American colonies were free from British rule. This bold declaration was signed on July 4, 1776. It marked the birth of a new nation, the United States of America. Thomas Jefferson was the principal author of the Declaration. He was a young Virginian lawyer. He was known for his eloquent writing.
The Declaration is a masterpiece of political philosophy. It argues that all men are created equal. It states that they are endowed with certain unalienable rights. These rights include life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The Declaration of Independence was a revolutionary document. It challenged the idea that kings and queens had an absolute right to rule. It asserted the right of the people to alter or abolish their government. The signing of the Declaration was a momentous event. It was a turning point in American history. It set in motion a chain of events that led to the American Revolutionary War. The war lasted for 8 long years. In the end, the American colonies emerged victorious.
The American Revolution was not a sudden event. It was the culmination of years of growing tension between Great Britain and its American colonies. The colonies were growing increasingly frustrated with British rule. They resented being taxed without representation in Parliament. The Stamp Act of 1765 was a major source of discontent. This act required colonists to pay a tax on all printed materials. This included newspapers, pamphlets, and even playing cards. The colonists saw this as a direct attack on their liberties. They organized protests and boycotted British goods.
The Boston Tea Party of 1773 was another significant event. This act of defiance was a protest against the Tea Act. The Tea Act gave the British East India Company a monopoly on tea sales in the colonies. The colonists saw this as an attempt to control their economy. They responded by dumping 342 chests of British tea into Boston Harbor. This act of defiance shocked the British government. It led to a series of punitive measures known as the Intolerable Acts. These acts further inflamed tensions between the colonies and Great Britain.
The Virginia Resolution was a pivotal moment in the lead-up to independence. In May 1776, the Virginia Convention met in Williamsburg. They were tasked with deciding how to respond to the growing conflict with Great Britain. Richard Henry Lee, a delegate from Westmoreland County, presented a resolution that would change the course of history. His resolution, known as the Virginia Resolution, called for the colonies to declare independence from Great Britain.
Lee's resolution was met with a mixture of support and apprehension. Some delegates were eager to break free from British rule, while others urged caution. The debate raged for days, with passionate arguments on both sides. Finally, on June 11, 1776, the Virginia Convention voted to approve Lee's resolution. This bold declaration sent shockwaves throughout the colonies. It was a clear signal that the colonists were prepared to fight for their freedom.